Hello and welcome to another video, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about why I love 91 Days. This season has been getting a fair amount of criticism, with some people even saying that it's the worst season of the year so far. And while I disagree with that statement, I will admit that there are quite a few currently airing anime that I was disappointed with. However, one show that hasn't disappointed me is 91 Days. It's got the same feel as Joker Game, which was my favourite anime of last season, but here's the thing. I think 91 Days is way better. It has been so enjoyable, and I'm always excited when I see a new episode has come out. The story begins with two brothers, Angelo and Luce, enjoying an evening playing with their friend. It's later revealed that their father is involved in the mafia, and their entire family is gunned down by a former ally as a part of a coup. Angelo was the only person to survive, as he managed to get away while the mobsters were distracted. 7 years later, he re-emerges with a plan to infiltrate the mafia and take revenge on the people who killed his family. The first aspect of this anime that drew me in is that the protagonist, Angelo, is not a good guy at all. His main goal is to avenge the death of his family, and he's already murdered quite a few people in order to fulfill that goal. Someone as cold-hearted and violent as Angelo could never be considered a hero. He's vastly different from the usual nice guy protagonist, and that's what makes him so interesting. While I've heard a few people say that his personality is fairly one note, I think that his status as an anti-hero and his dark past are enough to make him an endearing character, at least for me. In fact, the cast in general was very endearing, and one of the main reasons for this is how the mafia is portrayed. They're not just straight up villains. Now, being that they're mobsters, many of their behaviours are still quite villainous. They're constantly committing crimes, killing everyone who gets in their way. However, they also have a sense of loyalty, and they treat their colleagues like brothers. These guys are in a profession that is known for being extremely brutal, and yet there are times when they show a surprising amount of compassion. Because of this, I became much more attached to the background characters than I thought I would, and being that many of these mobsters are in Angelo's crosshairs, this leaves me constantly on edge. I'm afraid to see which of these characters is going to get taken out next. And this leads me to the best element of the show, the tense atmosphere. Now, like I did with Macross Delta, I feel like I have to cover the negatives before I move on to the praise. It's only fair. Angelo has been portrayed as somewhat of a genius. He always seems to have a master plan. So whenever it looks like he's in trouble, I never get anxious because I know he'll find a way to get out of it. He always does. This predictability ruins any kind of tension that the action scenes might have had. However, that doesn't matter too much because the tense atmosphere doesn't come from the action. It comes from the impending fight between Angelo and Nero. They become fairly close during the episodes when they're on the run together, but even after all they've been through, Angelo has not lost sight of his goal for revenge. This gets me thinking about what's going through Angelo's head. Is he conflicted? Is this friendship completely fake? And when he does decide to take his revenge, is he going to hesitate, or will he continue to remain stone cold? As you can tell, I'm greatly anticipating this confrontation, so they'd better not fuck it up. If this ends up being an anticlimax, it'll ruin everything. The entire story has been built around this battle, so depending on how it goes, it has the potential to make this into an amazing anime or a complete waste of time. Now, since the tone here is rather serious, it's rare to see a joke or a comedic moment, but they do pop up every so often. And when they did pop up, that was surprisingly enjoyable. One of the more humorous scenes happens in episode 5 when Angelo and Nero are entertaining a bunch of kids. And it was really funny. It's a very small part of the anime, however, the comedy provides a nice bit of levity in what has been a really dark story. While 91 Days may not be as popular as Food Wars or Mob Psycho 100, It's gathered a sizable fan base and I'm pretty stoked with the praise it's gotten. It's my favourite show of the season so far and it's definitely going to be on my top 10 of 2016 list. Hell, if the ending's good enough, it may even reach the top 5. I'm hoping that I've convinced at least a few people to check it out, and if you're one of those people, it's available right now over on Crunchyroll. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment, and if you like this video and want to see more, please subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.